Oui, j'ai vu qu'il y avait un tweet. Allez, on regarde. Il n'y a pas de sous-titres. Oh là là, c'est trop beau. Oh, c'est trop beau. Ah, Hades, bon, c'est sûr, on l'a. Oh là là. Oh, des petits dragons, trop bien.
Hey Valley Villagers, welcome to the Disney Dreamlight Valley 2024 Showcase stream. I'm Rachel.
Bon, alors là, il se présente. On est très excités de vous donner plein d'infos sur ce qui va arriver dans le jeu. Qu'est-ce qu'on va avoir aujourd'hui? Donc, reflect on past update. Donc, on va voir les infos sur les... Voilà. Et ils vont parler du crâne. Oh là là.
We're starting this celebration by reflecting on one of the best parts of Disney Dreamlight Valley, you, our community.
And thank you for joining us today and living magic.
Donc là, ils nous remercient d'être là et de jouer avec les persos et tout. Alors là, ils vont parler de la communauté du jeu. Donc ça, on a vu ça tout à l'heure. Donc ils vont nous montrer des créateurs de contenu qui jouent au jeu. Voilà, tout simplement. Merci de vous amuser avec nous. Merci Zigzig pour ton resub. Merci Clophoto pour ton follow. Donc là, c'est comme l'année dernière, on avait eu pas mal de créateurs de contenu qui étaient apparus en fait sur les écrans. Merci Fabien pour ton follow, merci beaucoup.
We're gonna make. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is so cool. Oh my gosh. We're like changing it from the past to the present. Oh my god. Hi, Oswald.
Oh, Oswald.
Excellent son chapeau. Alors. Hop là, je viens de retirer les alertes aussi. C'est quoi ce... Je crois qu'on a un code 2319. Oh! Donc premier code. Ah! Alors, je sais pas si... Hop là. On va avoir des cadeaux. Donc, ils nous disent 13 caractères l'année dernière, 13 persos. Bon, nous, on veut les nouveautés. Merci Rémi Gold pour le code. Donc, ils nous disent que si on a des choses à dire sur le jeu, faut pas hésiter à leur donner.
We've got another community manager, Courtney, and our game manager, Guillaume, to give you all the deets on our upcoming free update.
Donc là, ils vont parler des mises à jour gratuites et de ce qui va arriver dans le jeu en termes de qualité de vie. Mais on n'a pas ça.
Hello.
Thanks for having us.
So last year around this time, we revealed Jack Skellington and the Pumpkin King Returns update. As you likely guessed from our last roadmap, Sally, from Disney Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, will join him, bringing her signature patchwork style to the
Donc là, on va voir Sally qui va arriver.
After hunting for dolls and experimenting on night shards with Jack, what can we expect from Sally's adventures in the valley?
Alors, qu'est-ce qu'on va avoir avec Sally?
Players will team up with Jack to make sense of Sally's creepy crawly messengers as they craft a plan to reunite with her. Then as Sally gets comfortable in the valley,
donc, elle va être réunie avec Jack. Oh. Ça sent Noël, ça. Vous avez vu les petits cookies?
Sally's friendship rewards go. What can players expect?
Well, inspired by our sense of style, you can expect
Lui,
patterns
il parle français, lui.
items and furniture.
Oh, très bien. Donc là, c'est ce qu'on va avoir
Featuring Sally's iconic
avec l'arrivée de Sally.
These rewards just scream Sally.
Now, it
C'est
wouldn't
clair.
be a Disney Dreamlight Valley update without a new star path. What can
Alors, une
we
nouvelle
expect
voie des étoiles.
around?
Well, this winter we'll be embracing the ethereal sides of the season. You'll get to step into
Encore
your
un
own
truc
personal
d'hiver.
carousel with ice-adorned furniture and bring a sense of whimsy to your dream-stop submissions with a wand that produces snowflakes.
Well, there's never been a better time to join the Valley, especially now, as I know the team's been cooking up something particularly special with this update. Isn't that right, Guillaume?
That's right.
Alors.
As part of the So Delightful update, we're introducing a feature called Floating Islands. These act as additional spaces parallel to the valley, where players can decorate and let their creativity run free.
On va avoir des îles flottantes qu'on va pouvoir décorer.
Exactly. Each biome in the valley
Pour
will
chaque
have a
biome.
floating island counterpart, retaining the same theme and ambience, but it will start as a clean slate. We plan to
Oh,
roll
donc
this
pas
out
de
over time,
terraforming.
and we'll kick things off with 4 floating islands in the So Delightful update. Like biomes in the valley, they will be
Donc ça arrive à la
possible
prochaine
and
mise à
even better,
jour.
Each floating island will have objects limit independent from those in the valley, making them perfect for exploring your creativity and seeing how far you can go with your decorating skills.
We've also seen how driven our community is to connect, so it was equally important to us to ensure that this creativity could be shared. So yes, you will be able to travel to floating islands during valley visits.
Donc on pourra visiter ces vallées
From a scale
en
perspective,
multi.
our intention is for each of these floating islands to feel comparable in size to their valley counterparts, once you've taken out immovable features.
Donc elles vont être aussi grandes
The
qu'un
goal is to
biome
offer
en fait
ample space to
classique.
create without them feeling overwhelming. We will have more
Et
to
on pourra
share
décorer
about
comme
the
on
exact
veut,
size
c'est
of the
top, ça.
floating islands a little closer to launch.
And any furniture, decorations, or houses you've collected, as well as villagers you've befriended, will be totally accessible on these islands.
Et
You
on
won't have to
pourra
worry about
tout mettre,
tidying
tout
up.
ce qu'on a
Instead,
sur
the
ces
focus
îles-là.
will be on empowering you with the creativity-focused options you've come to love.
We have one more piece of big news to share regarding a feature update.
Oh, in addition to floating islands?
Yes, we're improving upon how players can decorate in a huge way. Currently, item rotation is locked to the 4 cardinal directions.
Ah, trop bien! On va pouvoir tourner comme on veut tous les items. Ok, ok, ça c'est top. Vous en parliez tout à l'heure. 16 points différents pour les décos. Ah ouais, c'est top!
Our plan is to continue building upon this feature over time, including extending the support to fences and paths.
When will players be able to get their hands on these features in the rest of the update?
We are excited
Allez, ça arrive!
will be released free for all players on December 4th, 2024.
Donc prochaine mise à jour le 4 décembre, mais vous allez voir la roadmap.
Looking ahead to next year, we're excited to share the free content roadmap for
Alice arrive!
In the
Alice!
first 3 updates of early next year, we're excited to bring
Excellent!
some to the valley. There are 2 I know have been among
Excellent.
the top in community requests.
Donc là ça va être Jasmine. Jasmine et Aladdin qui vont arriver aussi. Et puis l'été prochain, le crâne.
I've been tidying myself over by hosting tea parties in the valley, so I can't wait until we can share what the team's got in the cards for that spring update.
Excellent.
I'm excited to see what Secret Skull rocks.
C'est génial.
After all, I know this
Et
is
donc
not
voilà, va falloir attendre encore beaucoup de mois. Audrey, oui, c'est génial. C'est trop bien. La nouvelle île.
Updates. I think it's about time we visited a new land of mythical proportions.
Oh là là, ça va être la nouvelle île. Oh là là. Storybook Vale. Je l'avais annoncé il y a au moins un mois et demi. C'est trop beau.
But it wasn't always like this. Once upon a time, the Storybook Vale was a
là là.
legendary stories.
Ah, donc ok, Méridia qui arrive. Donc 2 persos. Et Maléfique, bon, bah on aura les Maléfique et Hadès. C'est trop beau.
Their hunger for power tore the veil apart. But all is not lost forever. Explore this magical world floating in the sky. Discover an enchanted artifact. Capture treasured tales that have taken on a life.
Ah, ils sont bien en origami, hein. Oh, et vous avez vu les petits trucs là?
And reveal their hidden
Oh là là. Oh, c'est quoi tout ça?
rekindle old friendships.
Et il y a des hiboux.
Lost fables.
Elle arrive le 20 novembre.
Friends come back together again.
Il y a 2 mises à jour. Il y a 2 mises à jour. L'affiche, elle est trop belle. Il y a 2 mises à jour. C'est génial. C'est génial. Oh putain, j'en avais parlé. 2 mises à jour, mais c'est trop bien. Oh, c'est trop bien. Là, je me trompe pas trop en vrai. Hein. Du coup, j'ai pas suivi ce qu'elle disait, la dame. Mais elle est habillée comme une sorcière un peu. Mais tu mets 2 mises à jour, c'est trop bien. Donc là, il parle du nouveau pass d'extension. Donc des nouveaux villageois à accueillir, des nouveaux mystères et des nouveaux biomes. Il y a beaucoup de contenu. Alors bon, je vous dis rien, je veux pas spoil. Donc 2 parties, 20 novembre et l'été 2025, ça va être super long. Oh, la deuxième image, elle est tellement belle.
But just like with our first expansion, purchasing the Disney Dreamlight Valley, the Storybook Vale expansion pass will get you both parts as they become available.
More content.
Ok, donc pareil, on va l'acheter une fois.
Now it's time to spill the beans. What is the exciting story this time?
So the Storybook Vale is the place in your heart where all your most treasured stories live. Once it hung in the sky above Dreamlight Valley, but during the forgetting, 2 Disney villains stole the veil away. For a time, Maleficent from Disney's Sleeping Beauty and Hades from Disney's Hercules ruled peacefully together over its 3 unique biomes, the Bind,
Donc il y a 3 biomes.
and Mythopia. But soon, a struggle for power between the Mistress of All Evil and the Lord of the Underworld tore the veil apart. As you can imagine, when you get those 2 egos together in a room, sparks literally fly.
Yes. And when the players arrive
J'aime bien le yes.
find out that things aren't so happy
Mythopia,
ever
trop
after.
beau,
Ink is
jaune.
spilling out of the very ground throughout the veil, and other
Ok,
mysterious
donc des
phenomena
nouveaux
have
trucs
begun
à
to take hold.
retirer.
You'll meet with the Keeper, a talking enchanted book who holds
Donc
the
un livre
world together.
enchanté.
And while she won't tell many
Il parle de
stories in her
mots.
pages, the discord between Hades and Maleficent has scattered them. So only you can put them back together as you explore the veil and get a little help from new friends along the way.
Donc là, ils vont parler des nouveaux personnages.
Join us on our adventures and later our valleys. I'm sure I'm not the only one curious as to what you can tell us about our new friends.
Well, I'm happy to share that part 1 of the Storybook Vale will bring with it 3 villagers for you.
Donc 3 villageois dans la première partie. Donc il y a Mérida de je suis perdu. Mérida, je pense que ça va faire plaisir à pas mal de monde. Rebelle, merci Rémi Gold. Merci Karine. Donc Flynn de réponse, alors chacun dans un pass d'extension. Hein. Elle a l'air un peu timide la nana. Alors, on va pouvoir réuniter du coup les 2 personnages. Et Mythopia, on va avoir Hades d'Hercule. Will help you to get. Alors, il va nous aider, c'est bizarre. Donc, il va être assez drôle. J'ai hâte de voir ça.
And of course, all these villagers will come with their own unique houses that you can move to the base game or to a floating island if that's
trop
where you
bien
can
les
build
maisons.
best and want them to live.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna add Hades to my floating island full of villains.
Oh, sa maison, elle est incroyable.
A tangled themed floating island to house
both Flynn and
Et ça doit être la maison de Flynn.
But I noticed you didn't mention anything about Maleficent.
While players might run into her in part 1, stay tuned for part 2 to solve all the mysteries of the Veil. And
Donc elle devrait arriver dans la deuxième partie.
That's not all. You can expect one more mysterious figure to join forces with players in part 2 of the Storybook Vale.
Et il y aura un autre
Aside from
personnage dans la
helping us,
deuxième
is there
partie.
anything else we can expect to aid us in piecing back together the Lore Keeper's stories?
Yes, players will have their neural net to aid them.
Why a net?
Donc il va y avoir le
Well, this
filet.
player's pages from the Lore Keeper hasn't just scattered with the wind. They've come to life in the form of snippets, which are enchanted.
Oh là là, mais c'est trop beau. En fait, il y a plein d'animaux en origami.
Out around the Vale, but watch out for a few special rare ones that will show up back in the Dreamlight Valley.
Can't believe how cute they are. They're gonna be tricky to catch.
Donc on va attraper les animaux avec le...
Each snippet will come with their own unique way to be captured that the player will need to figure it out.
Avec
Once you catch
le
them, you
filet.
can restore Disney and Pixar magic to the Lore Keeper's pages with a puzzle minigame.
Donc il va y avoir un
Each tale takes
mini-jeu
the
en fait
form
avec
of a
ça.
Beautiful tapestry telling the story behind a
Un
classic
style
Disney or Pixar
puzzle.
film. And these tapestries can then serve as beautiful pieces of decor that players can use
C'est
to
sympa
furnish
ça,
their
moi j'aime
in-game
bien.
homes.
Je préfère ça à Numismagie. Hein.
I can't wait to see the gallery spaces our players are going to design to showcase them. But speaking of designing, as I'm sure players are invested in where to place their home in game, what can we look forward to when exploring the different biomes in the expansion?
Well,
Alors ils vont parler des biomes.
Expansion, we've improved the flow of unlocking the areas within the biome and how a player progression in turn affect the exploration of this fantastical new world. One of our main goals in crafting the Veil was to allow for easier and more inspired decorating for our decor-driving players. We've also added more magic with the introduction of prominent landmarks inspired by Disney and Pixar stories.
Oh,
But of
trop
course, our team
beau!
delights in creating secrets for players to discover too.
Donc il va y avoir des secrets forcément.
Special quests inspired by fairy tales
Des
and
quêtes
myths.
spéciales
Players
pour
travel like
les quêtes
pages in a book,
mythiques
and only the player
et
can set
fairy
them right
tale.
using their full breadth of real tools, old and new.
And I'm sure our community is
Et il va
up
falloir
for the
utiliser
challenge.
tous
With
nos
all you
outils
shared, it
royaux
sounds
pour
like
y
there's
arriver.
So many mysteries waiting for us in the Vale. Thank you so much for joining us, you two.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next, we invite two members of the art team to the stage to share more on the world and artistic design of the Storybook Vale.
Donc là, il va y avoir des nouveaux
Use the code on
invités.
screen
Oh,
to claim a
oh,
Dreamlight Bow
oh.
headband in-game.
Donc l'autre cadeau, je crois
I'm joined
que...
by art director Steven and concept artist
Qu'est-ce
Yvonne
qui va être
to get into
gratuit?
some of the
Ce qu'ils ont
inspiration
montré au
behind
début,
Storybook Vale.
Coco Smooth.
Why don't we start with quite literally the biggest artistic endeavor of the expansion pass, the biomes. Earlier we were introduced
Donc ils vont parler des
to
biomes,
and
The
Ever
Bind,
After.
Mythopia et Ever
Where did the
After.
inspiration for these biomes come from?
In many ways, the biome was born out of our team's collective love of stories. There's something special and uniquely cozy about curling up with a good book. So the decision
Donc,
to lean into
oh là
dark
là, c'est
academia
trop
and the
beau.
cool yet cozy ambience of an autumnal forest just made sense.
And similarly, Mythopia, as you may have guessed from the name, is inspired by Greco-Roman culture and ancient
Donc
myths.
ça va être là où il va y avoir
We
Hades,
explored
je
this
pense.
biome
Oh
and
là,
walked
c'est très
away in
jaune. Hein.
Fields of golden wheat, dotted with cypress trees,
Les
magenta
moulins et
florals,
tout.
and
Oh là
ancient
là.
ruins.
Des
And
nouveaux
we also
fruits, je
discovered
pense.
subtle clues that a certain god of the underworld has also been there.
Finally, there's Ever After. We drew a ton of inspiration from Scottish and Scandinavian folklore, while sprinkling in Fey mythology.
Oh là là, on dirait c'est la mythologie irlandaise, etc.
I don't know about you, but for
Ce
me,
biome.
one of the most exciting aspects of digging into new biomes is seeing just how they'll translate into clothing and furniture items. Could you share a sneak peek at what folks can expect?
Of course, self-expression is one of the main pillars of our game, so we love the idea of taking inspiration from the new biomes into player customization. Maybe you want to build a cozy library where you can read for hours,
Bon, là,
or
ils
you
disent
wanna
du
dress
blabla
up
par
as a
rapport à la
Greek god
déco,
or
mais bon.
goddess, or design a magical mushroom fairy forest. I think that there's something for everyone here.
Speaking of expression,
Ils disent que tout le monde trouvera à décorer comme il aime.
Not only will you find Scrooge McDuck's store and Jeremy
Donc
in
une
this
nouvelle
new world,
boutique
you'll
Picsou
also find their
et
inspiration
chez Rémi
been
aussi.
overhauled to better fit in with their biome surroundings.
You'll also want to keep an eye out for some new additions to Scrooge McDuck's store
Alors,
that
qu'est-ce
will
qu'ils
be
vont
available
ils
to
vont
owners
rajouter
of
quelque
this new
chose
expansion pass.
pour ceux qui
Knowing
ont
just how much care you put
l'expansion
into the
chez
smaller
Picsou.
details of the environment, I'd love to know if there's any landmarks that stood out to you.
Yes, well, speaking of those smaller details, we loved playing with scale in Ever After. In particular, there's a waterfall feature.
Ah, ça fait très Alice, hein. Oh, trop bien. Ce lieu est inspiré de Alice au Pays des Merveilles. La statue d'Hadès, elle est trop belle. Hein. Le mont Olympe aussi. Oh là là, c'est magnifique. C'est trop beau, hein. J'ai les yeux qui sortent, Seb. Oh là là, ces espèces de petits dragons là en origami, c'est trop beau. Hein. Donc c'est bien en origami, hein. Les grenouilles.
Speaking of cute little animals, are you able to share anything about the new animal companions coming this expansion?
Donc les nouveaux compagnons qu'on va avoir. Donc 3 biomes. Donc 3 nouveaux. Oh, le hibou, il est tellement beau, il ressemble tellement à celui de Merlin. Tellement beau. Hein. Des mini-dragons dans Ever After. Oh là, oh, trop bien. Les mini, je sais plus comment ils s'appellent. Oh, de Fantasia. C'est trop bien, ils sont différents.
To wrap things up, however, any last details on new collectibles and resources?
As you've seen, the Storybook Vale's biomes are remarkable in their own ways, and the resources you can find in each are unique as well.
Donc des nouvelles plantes, un nouveau poisson, le koi, le seawolf et je sais pas comment c'est en français. Oh, des nouvelles fleurs. Oh, excellent. Oh là là, trop de trucs phosphorescents, je kiffe.
Well, I can't wait to see how our players react to them.
Bah on est fou, hein. Ils nous demandent comment on va réagir. On peut être que fou. Donc des nouveaux plats également. Oh, il y en a pas mal. Les olives, excellent. Excellent. Enfin, j'aime pas ça, mais avec mon prénom. Tellement. Des pancakes, Rémi Gold, je les ai pas vus.
Let's take a look at how you can get your hands on the expansion pass.
For those of you who've been following along on this magical journey and
des cadeaux qui vont arriver.
To dive into the Storybook Vale expansion pass.
Like a rift in time before it, the expansion pass will include a bundle of moonstones with your purchase. If you'd like to add a little extra magic, look no further than the Magical Edition, which offers even more moonstones, a collection of library and chic cosmetic items, and a
donc un nouveau skin des 10 000 pierres de lune et bébé Pegasus, trop bien. Bébé Pégase.
Between the Disney Dreamlight Valley base game, the Storybook Vale bundle, and the Enchanted Edition, you'll
alors ça va être des super bundles.
And of course, we can't forget about those of you who take the time to dive into updates as soon as they arrive. We're excited to offer a special early adopter bonus for expansion pass owners.
Donc pour ceux qui ont déjà le pass d'extension, on va avoir 3 tenues. Donc c'est pour ça qu'elle se barre le 20, c'est qu'il y aura la nouvelle. Elle veut pour Noël. Donc là, bon, 40% de remise.
And there you have it. From a new expansion pass exploring myth and the stories that connect us, to floating islands that will open up all sorts of creativity in the valley. We're so glad you were able to join us.
Bon, j'aurais pas beaucoup traduit, mais je pense que vous aurez compris pas mal de choses. Alors, le blouson... Ah, je l'aurais pas eu. Je pense que c'était jacket. Oh là là, Storybook Vale. Le 20 novembre. Je trouve ça génial. Hein. Je trouve ça génial et ça aura duré 23 minutes. C'est la folie. Hein. Il va coûter